Rise and Shine Rwanda, it's Tuesday the 27th of January.
Coming up on today's Rise and Shine Rwanda.
Get in touch with your inner peace as we explore an ancient calming practice.
It's Take Tuesday and Fidelis has a story you'll appreciate.
And we sit down with an acclaimed Rwandan rapper straight out of Canada.
Good morning, it's just after 7 o'clock in the morning and you're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Regis Isheja.
And me, Makeda Mahadio. Over the next hour, we'll be bringing you all the latest news, sports, and lifestyle headlines from here in Rwanda and around the world. And the Rise and Shine team are here with us in the studio. Fidelis, what's going on in the world of business?
Well, in the world of business, I covered a story with these young app developers who are determined to take over social media in Rwanda. It's very exciting.
Another exciting app, eh? All right. Alan, what do you have for us?
Well, actually, for this week, last week was DJing.
Yes.
But today, I've got a musical treat, and this time we're going to be rapping.
Oh,
boy.
That
Somehow
was
you're
fair.
still
No,
DJing.
I know, right?
Okay, and what about you, Arnold? What's up in the world of sports?
It's the big one, something which you may be interested in sports-wise. Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather. We're finally going to have the fight. All the details coming up.
all right, all that and more still to come, but first, Rise and Shine story of the day.
Meditation. Often when this word is used in media or entertainment, it's accompanied by images of monks or floating yogis. But there's much more to this ancient spiritual practice, and it's believed that this mental exercise has immense benefits for anyone who engages in it. I visited a meditation center downtown to learn about how this practice is faring here in Rwanda. Check it out.
Meditation, the practice of thinking deeply or focusing one's mind for a certain period of time. It's said to have immense health benefits both physically and mentally.
Meditation is we link to our true nature. That's we peace, love, happiness, and also to meditate with the purest things to the sources.
Around the world, many people use it as a form of relaxation, and some even as a form of healing. But how do Rwandans use meditation?
I knew how to direct it, the power of my thought. How can I direct my thought? How can I empower my thought for it to drive me in a good way, to pure myself, to know how I must be different with body consciousness and soul consciousness. I learned from here.
Many people can be confused as to whether or not the spiritual elements of meditation has anything to do with religion.
There are two things actually that people should know or should understand. Spirituality and religion, and being spiritual and being religious are two different things. You can be spiritual but not religious. Religion, you need to follow some kind of writings, some readings, and some prophecies and stuff. But spirituality is actually a way of living, which is actually it conditions the normal way that you live to a pure way of living.
With some of the most successful people worldwide famously using meditation as a conduit of focus and inspiration, I figured, hey, why not try it out myself and see how it goes? I don't know about you, but I think I may have just found my new weekly routine. Makeda Mahadio, Rise and Shine Rwanda.
And
Interesting there, I like that.
joining us in studio now is Patrick Kimenyi, a meditation trainer from the Brahma Kumar Center. So tell us, this is something that I'm not sure if a lot of people know about here in Rwanda, meditation. But a lot of people do consider themselves to be meditating while they're praying or, while they're just kind of thinking deeply about something. Is that the case, or is meditation something different from that?
There are different kinds of meditation, and the kind of meditation here we teach is called Raja Yoga. And this Raja Yoga means you have to become the king of yourself. And now the basic thing, you have to understand, who am I, the self? And we say that the self is a spiritual being and we are souls. And understanding this basic truth about ourselves, that we are different from the body, that we are spiritual being, actually is a very, very important thing in our meditation. And the step forward is to experience that. How do you experience that you are a soul? Now is the process of meditation. So this is very, very important in order to be able to guide your thoughts, because you are not just someone who is running out of your thoughts, but someone who can guide them and actually in the process becoming more and more peaceful and more happy with yourself.
All right, so I'll throw some urban myth at you. One is that to actually be able to do meditation, you have to be practicing Buddhism. So you'll tell me about that. And then number two, is it yoga or is it a form of yoga?
Here, what we teach is not really, is different from what is taught in different kinds of meditation, like Buddhism or other, what we call Hatha yoga. So in their practices, they involve many postures of the body, and this is a physical yoga. But what we teach here is not a physical yoga. It involves the mental, it involves the soul, it involves the thinking capacity of the human being. So you don't have to be a monk to do meditation. You don't have to be a very spiritual practicing person or religious person to practice yoga. But nowadays, as the world is becoming more and more chaotic, now we need to be able to have a practice that allows us to resource ourselves and to be more energetic not in the body only, but on the mind as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So you say that you're able to focus yourself, know that you're a soul, and quiet your body. But does this also have healing effects? Like I said, I've read in places where people feel that they can be healed by meditating. We had a report on the show once about clay therapy, and it was just people kind of getting their emotions out in that way, and people who had any trauma or any problem with drug or alcohol or something in that way. Do you think that meditation could help with?
Yes, meditation has really a healing effect on different habits people have. And sometimes people just think those who are ill or sick are those people who are traumatized and whatever. But everyone has his own weaknesses. We say in our teaching that if you are angry, let's say, it's a kind of sickness, And sometimes we come out with those weaknesses around. If you are stressed, it's a kind of weakness that you can be healed from. So the meditation that we teach is not only for the people who have problems, but it's for everyone.
Anyone.
Yes.
Right. Now, Patrick. Right.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was coming to that question of people who have those different habits, like they are on drugs and whatever. We have one person who has been practicing meditation with us, and he has been on drug, and he has been able to leave that. And that was a success of the meditation we teach. And the basic thing that helps people to overcome that is to understand themselves as spiritual being, and they have everything in themselves, and they can experience everything in themselves, peace, happiness. They don't have to rely on something else outside themselves. So once they understand that and they practice that, then they come up with that reality, that truth, that actually I don't need that thing. It was a drug that I was dependent on it to procure me some happiness, then I don't need that. So now they realize that, now they start practicing meditation, and that all the way they become healed, and also our character becomes more and more peaceful and more happy without pain.
No, Patrick, before we wrap up, share with us and with whoever is watching at home your personal experience. I mean, when did you start practicing meditation, and what are the benefits from it since you started?
Yeah, I started practicing meditation in 2006, when it was 1 year after the Brahma Kumaris came into Rwanda. So it's now the 9th years, and it has been very, very helpful for me to really be able to focus my life. And I don't really understand, and don't really figure out how would my life be without meditation, because it's a practice that I do on daily basis, and it always helped me to always come in touch, in harmony with myself, and always focus on what I want to do, and always clear my character. You know, I have to be very, very peaceful. I have to have a very peaceful interaction with people, and for me also to decide about what I have to do, how I have to handle my things. I have to be in that stage of, we call the stage of Om Shanti, the stage of very, very peaceful, where you can actually connect to the truth of your universe, because the solutions are there. And when you connect to yourself, to that stage of being independent to the body, being independent to the other sources outside from you, but you focus on yourself, then you come out with very good solution for your daily life.
Powerful indeed. Great piece, Makeda.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Patrick.
Thank you, Patrick.
That was great.
Thank you.
You're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Let's get to today's business headlines. Fidelis Karangwa has the details.
Business stories making headlines today. The National Bank of Rwanda has warned businesses which use point-of-sale devices against charging customers with electronic cards to pay bills, transactional fees. Officials say they have identified some business entities that have been charging clients the fees and have therefore taken action by reminding them of the regulation that prohibits surcharging customers making payments using POS. This measure was put in place to encourage the use of POS devices, which is a vital part in promoting the cashless economy. Local technology startups have an opportunity to grow their businesses thanks to the Tigo Tech Incubator Center, Think. The telecom firm recently announced that they have opened up applications for second intakes under its Accelerator Incubation Program for Africa, which is aimed at supporting tech startups to develop innovative digital solutions for the continent. And the Michigan State University and University of Rwanda are teaming up to start a degree program aimed at helping women in East Africa to get strong foothold in agribusiness. Officials said agriculture is a vital part to the people in Rwanda, and therefore this program would bring together all the components necessary for the development of the agriculture and food industry in Rwanda. Now, app development may just be the fastest growing business thanks to the government decision to put aside a portion of the country's budget to develop the ICT sector. Forget WhatsApp and Viber. Today, we meet two young entrepreneurs who have created a Rwandan version of these apps. Let's check it out. We all know the craze that WhatsApp and Viber caused over the years, but have you heard of Vuga and Nyatsa? For Cedric and Patrick, students who majored in fine arts and electronic engineering, having locally developed apps seemed like the way to go, as this would help more local people to use these apps.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of apps like WhatsApp and Viber. So like if we develop our own apps, which are in Kinyarwanda, we could get a lot of people to use them. So what really inspired me to do these apps is really wanted to develop something which can easily be seen by the Rwandans.
Nyatsa, the first thing, it's in Kinyarwanda, so any local people can use it, because you can find just a local people and you give him photo grid. He cannot easily know how to function photo grid, but Nyatsa, it's more easy and simple. Yeah.
Since they started working on these apps about 5 years ago, for these entrepreneurs, it is still difficult to run their business as they hardly have any capital to work with and have had to depend on their family support to develop these apps, a problem that most entrepreneurs are facing at the moment. For these two, however, having to work at the National Library of Rwanda seems to be working to their advantage, as they say it has helped them to meet various people whom they have educated about the apps and have slowly gotten them to use and spread the word about the apps. So what should we expect from them in the future?
We want to create more unique apps after these apps, after we have launched them.
Well, looks like another day, another app. The Rwandan youth are definitely taking over. Karangwa Fidelis, Rise and Shine Rwanda. Joining us in studio is Alex Stale, Executive Director of ICT Chambers. Welcome to the show, Alex.
Thank you very much.
Now tell us, you're obviously in the ICT sector and you know most of the things that are happening there. But for most of these young entrepreneurs, like the ones I interviewed, they keep on saying the hardest issue that they have to face every day is, getting capital to start their business or to develop their businesses. Even for these ones in particular, they had to get their funding from families. What would you say is the reason behind that, and what would be the solution according to you?
I would say that Rwanda is not the only place where entrepreneurs are facing a challenge of accessing capital. And the approach they're taking actually has been proven to be correct. It has worked in several places. The first source of capital for any entrepreneur, or most entrepreneurs, especially in the tech sector where risk is high, is family, friends. It's the 3 Fs. It's family, friends, and fools. Why fools is people who basically take a gamble on the entrepreneur. Now, I would say that there's several initiatives that the government is trying to put in place, but one of those is the K-Lab, which has been running now for about 24 months. Over 24 months, the K-Lab's existence. And what I've seen here is kids, these youngsters, the app developers, using facilities like the Rwanda Library services and the internet facility which is there. what they have developed is testament to the to the government's resilience or the government's interests in ICT, where they've laid cable, fiber, and now the internet is available to as many as to as many people as possible. So this is allowing everybody, leveling the ground, that whether I'm a high school or a university student, I can learn. I have access to knowledge all over the world, from all over the world. The facility, I guess they're using maybe open source technologies. There's many of those which can be customized to be Rwandan. WhatsApp, for example, is proprietary technology, but there are other competitors of WhatsApp that are open source, and that allows the youngsters to innovate. Now, capital is most of the times highlighted as a problem, but is it really the problem? I don't think so. I'd argue that business skills are more rare than the capital. Yeah, and that is what really the entrepreneurs most of the time face. If you, as you can see today, the youngsters are app developers, they are techies. They have no business person with them. They are not like Rise and Shine, which has a business analyst in the team. So what they need is, they need someone from the business sector who actually can advise them on how to make money from their business, from their idea. So at least for now, they have proven that they can develop something that is functional. The next stage, I would suggest, is to find someone who understands business, and they can get some of this stuff from the K-Lab. If they come to K-Lab at Telecom House, they are mentors, business mentors, who would help them on actually taking this forward and turning that tech skill that they have into actually a viable business in the spirit of Hangu Murimo.
That's a very good point that you've made, and I really hope everyone watching the show is going to get that from you. Now, the other problem was, I while talking to them, also I kept on telling them, so have you presented your ideas to like telecommunication companies that would obviously want maybe to own the app or buy the app? And they keep on saying telecommunication companies, especially here in Rwanda, are not foregoing. They're really not they're not as interested in purchasing these apps. Would you say it's because maybe the quality is not as good, or what would you say would be the reason behind that?
I don't think it's the quality issue. I think it's understanding. It's business. It's just trying to understand business. So if I'm a telecom provider, why would I be wanting to buy a service that is competing against my biggest cash revenues, my cash and revenue generators, which is voice. So what they've developed is what we call voice over IP. It runs over the internet as opposed to the GSM technology that most telecom providers are working on. But again, it goes back to the fact that, to the earlier point that I made, which is they need to get someone who understands business, understands value chains, understands exactly who their market is. Are the telecom companies their market? Probably not. And that's where it all goes back to getting business skills. And I think this is something that that needs to be looked into. That in addition to the tech skills that are being given to the youngsters, some business skills should also be taught.
Yeah.
And entrepreneurship courses are now common in high schools, as well as TVETs and different categories of the education system. So I'd say they just need to find someone who understands business and incorporate that person in their structure.
Great insight there, Alex. Thank you very much for coming to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
You're up to date today's business headlines. Sports news coming up next in just a minute with Ono Kwizera.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Time now for your sports news. I'm Arnold Quizeda. Starting with local football, Rayon Sports talisman Jerome Sina will sign for a Bosnian club before the current transfer window closes on January 31st if the two parties reach a deal in the ongoing talks. The Congolese midfielder left Kigali last week for a trial in the same season. He had joined the Blues from Police FC, which had signed him on loan from DR Congo's FC Saint Elo Lupopo. Meanwhile, the club have signed the Burundian duo of Pierre Nyomusabye and Aime Emmanuel Nyomusabye. The club is set to agree terms with the Congolese pair of Junior Kengei Mutombi from AS Bantuyi and Papi Shinshimbi Kabamba from TP Mazembe. On to tennis. Both Williams sisters Stanislas Wawrinka and new local hero Nick Kyrgios booked their places in the quarterfinals of the Australian Open. Playing on his country's National Day, Australia's new teen prodigy came back from 2 sets down to win a 5-set thriller against Italian Andrea Seppi, winning 5-7, 4-6, 6-3, 7-6, 8-6. Defending champion Stanislas Wawrinka needed 4 sets to stay on course for back-to-back titles, winning 7-6, 6-4, 4-6, 7-6 against Guillermo Garcia Lopez. In the women's draw, Serena Williams had to default to spin as she dispelled Gabin Muguruza 2-6, 6-3, 6-2 in 2 hours. The biggest shock was sister Venus Williams' victory over 6th seed Agnieszka Radziska, winning 6-3, 2-6, 6-1. All is set to play for in today's Group C fixtures in the African Cup of Nations tournament in Equatorial Guinea, as what was originally called the Group of Death comes down to the wire. All 4 teams have a chance of qualifying if results work out in their favor. South Africa's Bafana will have all to do as they take on an Asamoah Gyan-inspired Black Stars of Ghana with maximum points, and the loss for Algeria's Desert Foxes against Senegal's Teranga Lions enough to have Sheikh Mashaba's men into the quarterfinals. Joining me in studio is Moses Gahije, regular pundit on our show. First time seeing you this year, Moses. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
Moses, now with the Africa Cup of Nations and Australia Open taking their toll, they're the year's first big tournaments before the Cricket World Cup and the Rugby World Cup later on this year. Let's start with the Africa Cup of Nations. South Africa, Bafana, they have been playing well but not getting the results. They're in a must-win clash, today against Asamoah Gyan's Ghana. Do you see South Africa beating the Black Stars?
Right now, it's really a complicated situation for South Africa. We've seen it has pedigree. It's coming with pedigree in this competition, but at this point, teams have grown so much. You see a team like Ghana. Just a few years ago, it was a struggling team, but right now, it's up to its best. So South Africa is really facing tough competition, and I think my odds, I'm giving my prediction that Ghana is going to win.
Ghana is going to win and go in. And now this year's tournament, we've had a lot of draws. 1-1. You couldn't put your money on any team. Before that, the previous tournaments, 2002, 2004, you could come into a tournament and Nigeria has to go to the next round. Cameroon has to go to the quarterfinals. Ivory Coast, Ghana, Mali, the West African powerhouses. We had Tunisia and Morocco with Mustafa Hadjis also coming in to play very good football. Why has the balance of power shifted? Every team is now good. What has brought that up in African football of late?
I think African footballers in Africa have gotten exposure over the years. Way back, we used to play in the local leagues, in the African leagues. But right now, you see a small team having a number of stars playing in other bigger leagues, Premiership.
Team like Cape Verde,
Exactly.
500,000 people and they have a good 15-man squad.
Exactly. So you see, there has been a tremendous rate of growth over the years, and I think Africa's football is really growing, and it's unfortunate that Africans themselves are much focused on Premiership, and you can even see right now these games are ongoing, but people are all waiting for the weekend to watch the Premiership. So I think even as fans, we need to shift our focus and we support our African football.
But do you think that goes down to the federations? Because when you look at the federations, African football, they're not promoting the African football itself. Because when you look at the Africa Cup of Nations, we have only 3 coaches who are locally based coaches. You know, that's Sheikhs at South Africa, you have the Cape Verde coach, and you have the Congo Brazzaville coach, which teams are not the strongest in the tournament. So is that a problem down to the administration in African football?
Yeah, it comes down to confidence. We need to really develop confidence in ourselves. We need to grow our talent, starting from footballers, going to coaches, going to assistant coaches. You won't rely on foreigners to grow more talent. So I think it's a challenge. It's a call to all African football managers to definitely come down and groom their talent. Even coaches, we have really wonderful people who have been through the system, and they can make a great contribution in coaching.
And I hope that's something for the officials at Ferafa can hear from you, you know, about us hiring a new coach for the Amavubi. And now moving on quickly to tennis. Roger Federer is out. The Serena sisters are, the Williams sisters are playing well in the Australian Open. Starting with the females draw, do you feel Serena Williams is too strong for the likes of Maria Sharapova and Venus Williams going into the quarterfinals of the Australian Open?
Yeah, I think, you know, competition at this magnitude definitely comes down to experience. Serena Williams has really that pedigree. She's been there for a while. She has been in a number of competitions compared to Sharapova. But I think my biggest impression was with the sister. Venus.
Yeah, she has shocked so many.
Venus, since 2010, she had never reached that level.
Yeah.
So, and right now she comes back. We see, you know, in sports, a comeback is really difficult, especially as you grow in age. But now we see she's doing the things she used to do when she was young. So that's really impressive. And I think the tennis world should really congratulate those ladies. Yeah. They've really done a great job in
promoting the tennis all in general. Now, looking at the men's draw, we still have Novak Djokovic in there. We still have Andy Murray, Stanislas Wawrinka, the defending champion. Who is your favorite for the men's draw that now Roger Federer is out?
Djokovic.
Novak
Djokovic is relentless. Is unstoppable. You could see when he was battling with Muller.
Yeah.
You could see Muller is impressive. Muller has energy. Muller has a good serve, but Djokovic neutralized him. You could see he was reading between the lines. He was on top of his game.
He was winning the 50-50 moments.
Yes, and you could see he won the pieces, the first sets, and it was really great. And I'm putting my money on him.
On Djokovic.
Yes.
Okay, you talked about comebacks earlier. Manny Pacquiao will be making his comeback. I hope Floyd Mayweather gives us that fight. Conversation for another day. Moses, thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you.
Regis and Makeda will be right back with the latest news headlines after this break.
Okay, welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Let's take a look now at news making headlines here in Rwanda and around the world.
The managing director of the International Monetary Fund, Christine Lagarde, is in the country for a 3-day visit. The trip is expected to provide a platform for her institution to reinforce its partnership with Rwanda. She said she was excited about her visit to Rwanda, which has managed to rebuild and improve the welfare of all Rwandans 20 years after the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. Christine Lagarde was ranked the 5th most powerful woman in the world in 2014 by Forbes magazine.
The World Bank Group has approved a $70 million credit to support Rwanda's social protection strategy. The funds will be donated through the International Development Association and are expected to improve poverty reduction through increased household income. Officials said the project will facilitate Rwanda's effort in addressing poverty and reduce the impacts of external effects on the poor through efficient social protection system. The government is targeting to reduce its extreme poverty levels to less than 30% by 2017. And in international news, top Ugandan rebel commander Dominic Ongwen is set to appear before the International Criminal Court in The Hague to face war crime charges. The leader of the Lord's Resistance Army was accused of 4 counts of war crimes and 3 crimes against humanity. His trial will be the first time a member of the LRA has faced international justice. The LRA is accused of seizing children to use as fighters and sex slaves. Ongwen was arrested last month after giving himself up in the Central African Republic.
Zambia's Defense and Justice Minister Edgar Lungu won the presidential election with 48.3% of the vote. Lungu's rival, Hakainde Hichilema of the United Party of National Development, came close with 46.7% on the vote. The election was called after the death of President Michael Sata last October. Lungu says he aims to complete economic development projects begun by his predecessor.
Lots more still to come. Lifestyle is up next. Plus, we take a look at what's hot right now in our daily debate section, Hot Topics. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, and you're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda Lifestyle Now. Alan, what do you have for us?
Well, it's all about music today. Got some music treats.
Oh, we got hip hop coming up.
That's right.
Another week, another artist profile, and this week we're introducing you to another Rwandan musician doing his thing abroad. Shad is a hip-hop artist hailing from London, Ontario, who has gotten big-time recognition for his last 3 albums, The Old Prince, Soul, and his latest release, Flying Colors. Recently, the award-winning rapper had an intimate performance for Illum Sessions right here in Kigali, so we went to catch up with him. Meet Shad.
I was born in, it's a little bit more complicated. Name is Shad, hip hop artist, rapper. I was in an unsigned talent competition and I was fortunate enough to win that, and the winners of that competition got money to make album. So that's how I was able to make my first album, and from there I could sort of take steps towards a career.
Yeah, I forget so often, God, no wonder I feel lost when I forget where I came from or how I got past. Now we ain't young, can't play dumb, the fun and game's done. Man's a strange one. Reverend, what you...
My musical aesthetic is pretty classically hip-hop. In high school, like, I grew up listening to a lot of Common. That was the guy that, like, in the cafeteria when you had to champion one MC, that was my guy. I had my case built and I would present it every day at lunchtime. Lauryn Hill, but I listened to everything. And Outkast was another one that blew my mind in high school. And then later on, you could say definitely Kanye West and, you know, the Kendrick Lamars and some artists now too. Yeah, that's the thing I'm most interested in, and the thing I love the most is creating and writing and making things out of your experiences and ideas into something that you can share that's fun. I've never been that like songwriter that writes about, I don't know, makes up some fictional imaginative narrative or like sees something and then writes from someone else's perspective. I've always written from my own perspective. And so my music essentially boils down to my own journey, and that's basically what it is.
When Abraham went to slash Isaac, in a sense he baptized him. Rabbi said don't trust them cash prizes. Same things that float your boat can capsize it. Tell the snakes they can take a hike like gas prices.
Wow, Makeda, good job.
Thank you.
I gotta say, you know, I was there at the concert and I really did enjoy it. And it wasn't just me. Everybody seemed to be enjoying him a lot.
Definitely.
Yeah, he's one of those people, like, he knows how to get the crowd going and really, like, and one thing I can say is I believe you could consider him like a conscious rapper, because he reminded me a lot of Common, and I noticed he talked about how he, you know, grew up listening to Common.
Right. Like he said, he writes about his own experiences. He writes about his own life and whatever inspires him. And yeah, I mean, I suppose you could say that's conscious rap, and he does say that Common is one of his biggest influences. But the concert was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, he doesn't do a lot of concerts here. I think the last concert he did, and I could be wrong, because he does come to visit quite often here in Rwanda. I do remember
a couple of years ago.
Right, he also did Kigali Up, I think, one of the first ones. And people always love him when he comes, but he is concerned, like Somi was. Remember the last time we did the jazz singer, Somi, that the market here is not quite big enough, and I may have to agree with him, because people really like to listen to Kinyarwanda music, rap music, but they like to listen to it in Kinyarwanda. So I think that's one of the reasons why he probably doesn't come to perform as often as usual. But like you said, the concert the other day was awesome, albeit quite intimate. It was an Illum session, and I'm going to post the links for anybody who wants to watch the entire concert, because it's there online. Illum did it. And they normally have their sessions, I think, you know, ever so often with different people that they feature. But yeah, it was a lot of fun talking to him, and he's quite acclaimed. I mean, he's won a Juno Award. If anyone knows anything about Canadian music,
I do.
Oh, you represent.
No, it's like the Canadian Grammys, so it's a big deal. It's
and
actually
apparently
huge.
he beat out Drake.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a huge deal.
I mean, I guess that was before Drake became Drake.
No, Drake was big at that time. That was in 2013, 2014, I think.
You know what? Hey, maybe.
I mean, don't underestimate our people, Alan.
I actually thought it was before Drake became Drake.
No. He actually, apparently it was when Drake was Drake.
Actually,
and
that's true, because Drake has been big for quite a while now.
Yeah. So he won out over Drake for one of those Juno Awards. And he's been nominated many times before, not only for that, but for a Much Music Award.
Yeah.
I think that's also a
Absolutely.
Canadian.
That's like the Canadian MTV Awards.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's quite acclaimed, and he's doing his thing. And as you can see, people really seem to love him. So,
absolutely. He's very
shout
talented.
out to Shad.
Yeah. And shout out to a Rwandan musician going out there and doing big things.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much, Makeda.
Thank you, too.
All right. Stay tuned. Hot Topics is coming right up. Welcome back. It's that Hot Topics time again. As always, you can join in on the debates through our social media, whether it's on Facebook or on Twitter. Let's get into our first hot topic, guys. So over the weekend in Nigeria, there was the Social Media Awards Africa. Now this is an award ceremony that basically acknowledges all the different countries that are very active in social media. And our government was actually one of the ones that won an award for best use of social media by government and or / public sector. It was the Republic of Rwanda Ministry of Youth and ICT, which won Best Twitter Award. I guess most active as far as government institution. And so yay for Rwanda.
Yay for Rwanda.
For those who
absolutely.
voted like me, yes. For
Oh,
Rwanda.
did you? You voted for Rwanda?
I voted.
Yes. Now I have to mention that most of the winners, although we only won one award, other winners included Kenya, as far as East Africa. They're one of the biggest winners, as well as Nigeria. Those are the two other countries that are really very active on
Shout out to
social
Kenya
media.
and Nigeria.
Shout out, and hopefully we can win more awards next year,
That's
right?
one of the things I appreciate the most about living in Rwanda is that you can see so much of what's going on just through Twitter or through Facebook.
And it's nice that Africa is acknowledging us, right?
Right.
Okay, cool. Let's go on to the next hot topic. Now, this one is more sports related. When it comes to the Olympics that are taking part in Brazil next year, the Minister of Sports and Culture, Mr. Joe Habineza, actually came out and said that there will be no wild cards for the Olympics. Now, in case you guys don't know what wild cards is, maybe I should let Arnold explain what wild cards are.
Usually like countries that don't get a chance of sending someone, a participant to the Olympics, are given a free wild card, an entrance for some sports disciplines, the likes of badminton, judo, swimming, because Rwanda had 3 wild cards at the past Olympics, 2 from swimming and 1 in judo.
In London.
Yeah, at the London 2012 Olympics, yes. And the Minister of Sports coming out to say this time the wild cards that will be given to Rwanda, actually no Rwandan participant will be given those wild cards because he wants people to
merit.
I think that's a great
participation.
I think so too, because to be honest, those guys who get the wild cards don't usually go far, because even the swimmers, like you said, and was it a judo? They didn't go very far.
But the good thing with the wild cards is you get a chance to give someone an experience. Because if you have a participant who's about 14 years old, 15, like our past swimmer at the past Olympics, she was 16 years old, when she got that experience, she's improving. At the next Olympics, she will be better. You never know, she will merit because she has learned from the best in the world. So that's the advantage of the wild cards. So it's
But this is also still good, because I feel like now people feel like if you do want to get the experience, then work really hard So you earn the experience, and this is actually good. I think it's an amazing idea.
I got you. Right?
Absolutely.
All the way.
Right.
All right, on to the next hot topic. This one is something that I think, you've probably heard about, but you don't really know much about. But there's a story that came out in Igihe about a young lady who, basically, I'll give you a little background. It's a small town in Ruhanga, in Ngororero, if I said it correctly. Yeah. And basically what it is that there was a company called Angelique International. It was an Indian company that was hired to build a plant, an electricity plant.
Nyabarongo Dam.
Yeah, in the Nyabarongo Dam, thank you. So basically this young lady went there looking for work, and I'd say she had a love affair with one of the Indian employees. Now, they were living together, but then soon after she had the baby, he was sent back to India by the company, the employee, and her and 4 other women also who got pregnant by some of these Indian workers. Now, basically the story is that these women feel like they've been left behind. They can't reach some of the men. And also, they're not, sending any money, any child support, or anything like that. So I feel like this is not a story that's unique, because there's also, I'm sure you guys have heard of contractors from China who are building roads, right, who go to villages and impregnate local women and then just leave those women. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I think it's really unfortunate.
That's not just in Rwanda though.
It's all over Africa, all the developing countries. But I mean, I'm just talking about Rwanda because this is stories that we hear all the time.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, I just hope the measures that are being taken to help these women, because as much as the men who got them pregnant have left the country, at the end of the day, they still need help. They can't raise these kids on their own. And what we should focus on mostly, I feel, is just how to help these women, as opposed to focus on who's gone and left.
Yeah, because the thing is, why I even brought up this story is that this woman is trying to get the company to actually, I guess, aid them and help them financially. Now, whether the company will actually do that, I'm not sure. I've heard stories where some of the Chinese companies actually end up, like I heard one story where a Rwandan woman had sued the Chinese company and got money from the Chinese company because a Chinese worker had impregnated her. But I mean, I don't know.
I think it's these people have a right to call out, and the government needs to step in to help these people, because they are not able to help or take care of these children, because you find most of them are 21, 22 years old. They're still very young ladies.
And they're
with a bright
extremely
future.
poor.
Yeah, and they are not the luckiest of people living in impoverished areas. And they have the right to call out, and it's the government's job to help these people and facilitate them and maybe get to the fathers of their children.
Absolutely. Well, don't forget, we'd love to hear your thoughts, your comments, and your feedback here on what we're talking about on Rise and Shine Rwanda. Tweet us at Rise and Shine RW. Like us on Facebook and send us your ideas for programs. Check out our Rise and Shine YouTube page where you can catch all the shows and the reports we do. Find us on Instagram, Rise and Shine RW. We'd love to see your pictures. Or check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda website.
Well, that's all the time that we have for today's show. Don't forget, we'd love to hear your thoughts, and do let us know if you have any ideas for the program. You've been watching Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Makeda Mahario.
And me, Regis Isheja. We'll be here same time, same place tomorrow on behalf of us two and the rest of this beautiful team you see here. Wishing you a great day. We'll see you back tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.